So again, my name is Sydney Seymour. I have the absolute pleasure of being the regional technology trainer serving North Carolina, South Carolina, like I just mentioned, 43 different locations, close to 9,000 associates. I've been with Keller Williams since 2010, and I've worn almost every hat except for that of an MCA because math is not my strong suit. So definitely not what I want to do. I'm really passionate about, I have a saying that I say a lot, which is if I can help an agent save 1 minute of time every day or $1 a day through technology, specifically through KW Command, then that's something that I want to do. Like I mentioned, I've been with Keller Williams since 2010, currently the RTT. I'm KWU Master Faculty, a Labs Advisor, and just really excited to be here with you today, where we are going to talk all about new year, new leads. And what's interesting is I was preparing for this workshop. Does anybody feel like, and you can either like raise your hand and say yes, or you can drop yes in chat. Does anybody feel like this is the longest month that we've ever had in all of the months in the land? Like, is anybody shocked that it's still January? To me, I don't know. I just feel like the end of last year, maybe I was not ready for the holidays. I don't know what it was, but it just felt like it got here so quickly. And now I just feel like, oh my gosh, we're still in January. So this is still appropriate. New year, new leads. I dropped a couple things in, yeah, Jen, it's January 245th day. Seems like it. It's actually 12424, which is kind of cool today. But I'm going to drop a couple things in chat as you guys continue to blow up the chat. I love that with just for some referral opportunities there. There's three resources that I'm going to drop in chat for you, and I will drop them continuously. So if you weren't able to grab them or you're jumping in later, we'll make sure that we have them there for you. So the first link is going to be the KW Carolina's YouTube channel. So anything that we do workshop wise that we're able to record, we'll take and we'll upload there. So we'd love for you to go subscribe, follow that channel, just to get some additional resources for you and your business there. The second link is a link to our KW Regional Facebook page, and that is where we will post not only workshops like this that are virtual so we can get out to the entire region at once, but also in-person, really amazing training events and things that we are hosting. So we'd love for you to follow us there as well. We want to celebrate your success there also. And then the final thing is a link to KW paid ad campaigns. That's not what we're going to follow today. I just like to drop that resource in there for you. So if you wanted to just grab that prior to us ending the call at 2 p.m., you'd have that as a resource that you can kind of go back and take a look at. So with all of that, we're going to go ahead and get started. Here's what we're going to cover today, just so you have awareness. So there is a new paid ads experience. It went live probably October of last year. And since that went live, we were able to really get some great data, some great best use scenarios of agents that are using this at a high level. So what we're going to really talk about today is we're going to go kind of down two different paths. One, we're going to go down the paid ads experience and really those ads that we see that are performing at the highest level. We're going to talk about what we want to make sure that we're doing as we're creating that ad. We're also going to spend some time talking about what we want to make sure we are never doing. That if any of you have ever maybe paid for an ad on Facebook and you say, I'm just not getting the leads that I thought I would get, or I've got a ton of people that are looking at it, but I'm not really getting any leads. We're going to talk about what we want to make sure that we're not doing there. So we'll talk about what to do. We'll also talk about what not to do, the big mistakes that we see sometimes people making. And we're going to talk about follow-up. So we know specifically with online leads that it's really speed to lead, and a quick follow-up is the name of the game. And we'll talk about how to set yourself up for success so that that's already done. So you're not having to stop everything that you're doing to immediately reach out to that lead. And I promise we'll make it really fun. We'll make this as engaging and interactive as we possibly can. I'll probably use the chat a little bit for that. So thank you for being here. I understand that taking time out of your day in any market with what you do all day is a big thing. So for you to entrust 60 minutes of your day with me, I don't take that lightly. And the goal is that you'll leave here with actionable things that you can take. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump on in. I do have, this is not a slide deck class. This is going to be we're in a live environment class. However, because we are talking about making phone calls, we're going to be talking about reaching out to people, leads that come in, wanted to make sure that we put this up here. So a lot of you have probably heard of the TCPA, which is the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. We call that the TCPA. It regulates telemarketing calls, voicemails, and text. There is no business to business exception to the TCPA. So here's how we just want to make sure that we're complying to that. We're not leaving or dropping pre-recorded or ringless voicemails or using any sort of artificial voice message. We're not using an auto dialer to make those calls. We are checking with the do not call registry to make sure that anybody that we're calling is not on that. Stop calling or texting any agents, or in this instance, any consumers who indicate they do not want to be contacted. Know and follow all of your state laws in addition to the TCPA, and then engaging with counsel to confirm compliance. There's a nice QR code here. You're more than welcome to scan that if you'd like to have that. That just takes you to more additional TCPA information. And we do have some KWU training on this as well that you can find on KW Connect. So just wanted to make sure that we get that out first. All right, so bear with me one second. I'm just gonna share in a different screen. And while I'm doing this, I'm gonna use chat just for some activities. And I know we have some people that are like physically in a market center. So if you have a representative for chat that wants to kind of answer that, we can go that way. But here's what I'd love to know. Can you just do a yes or a no in chat for me? Have you ever run a paid ad on any form of social media? That could be Facebook, that could be Instagram, that could be TikTok. Okay, so overwhelming, we're getting some yeses. Okay, awesome. Mostly Facebook. I tend to be seeing that. We do have some no's, so love that you're here to learn a little bit more about that. And again, as that's coming in, we're seeing just more Facebook. We tend to see that's probably the one that is used the most. That's really helpful for me, so thank you so much for taking time to just let us know that, just so I kind of have some sort of awareness of who's in the audience here. So bear with me. I'm just going to pull up something so that you can all really see where I'm pointing as we go through this. So we're going to jump on in. And so the first thing that we're going to talk about is the new paid campaigns experience. So what I'd like to now know is a follow-up question. Those of you that have run a Facebook ad, have you run it through command through the new paid ads experience? So essentially, have you run an ad through command probably since like October or November of last year? Okay, we're getting a lot of no's on this one. Interesting. So we're getting some of these that maybe you've done it previously and then hadn't done it with the new experience. Okay, cool. So love that. Great. Also through command, but prior to that. Okay, cool. Those of you that have done it through command before, I think you're going to really like the new experience. Very intuitive, really, really easy. And there's some amazing features that are going to save you so much time. I did see something in the chat about connecting. So I know we've got a lot of Market Center tech trainers that are on this call, or they're with Calls on Me Weekly. If you are on here as an agent and you are not running a Facebook ad because you are having some issue of getting your Facebook business page connected to your command, please let your Market Center tech trainer know. I'm sure a lot of you have already, but we want to make sure that we get that resolved for you. If we need to escalate that to support, we absolutely can. But your Market Center tech trainers are the true champions, so please let them know, and I know they'd love to help you with that. All right, so first things first, we're going to jump into campaigns. So prior to me just preparing for this call, I just logged into command. So remember, we're getting to command by going to agent.kw.com. Now, for me, just because there's all of these different applications over on the left-hand side of the screen, for me to really know where I want to go first, I can click into that red box at the top left that just is labeled KW. That's going to open up that window for me, and I can see all of the different applications that I have through command. I think of it as this way. Campaigns has that big megaphone next to it. So let's think of it. That's how I want to get my marketing message out. So I want to get my message out to the masses. I want to use that megaphone. That's how we're going to go. We're going to go into campaigns that way. So I'm going to click into that, and then you'll see that's going to take us to our campaigns homepage. Now, once they released the new experience for paid ads, you have the ability to click learn here, or learn more rather. That's going to take you to all of these resources. So all of these different answers articles, anything that we want to take a look at there, that takes you directly to that. We're actually going to go back. We want to run the ad directly through here. So we're just going to go back one. Let me just get this full size. And then in command, I have a joke that I make that I think is funny, which is like, I just want to always follow the money, right? So I know that this is not maybe truly a green money color, but the way that I explain command and the way that kind of makes sense for me is I'm going to follow that money trail. So I just want to follow the green. So generally, when you're on any page in command, if you just click into that green button, That's going to allow you to then go in and do something. So all we've done so far is we went into campaigns, which looks like the megaphone, and then we clicked on create campaign, and we're going to pick which of these that we want to create. In this workshop where we do this together, we're going to say that we want to create a paid ad. Now, that doesn't mean that you always have to do that. A social post allows you to go in and just schedule out all of your social posts on either Facebook or Instagram. It has to be a business page for that. Direct mail allows you to go in and create mailers, such as postcards that you could send around to any neighborhood. And then email is that one-step email campaign that we might want to send out. For the vast majority of our time today, we're going to work on a paid ad experience together. So I'm just going to click on paid ads, and then you'll see it's going to take me right into my campaigns. And this is where, for those of you that haven't used this experience yet, this is going to look a little bit different to you. Now, we're not going to go through all of the campaigns because we've got 13 different things that we can use here. But we are going to talk about the highlights of some of them and which ones I really would recommend that you use from the very beginning. So I'm curious, and I'm going to go to chat for this and have you, those of you that have created a Facebook campaign previously, not with the new experience, but you've just done a paid ad through Facebook at some point, what was the, I guess what I would ask is, what's the subject of the ad that you ran? Was it around a listing? Was it around an open house? Was it around like some sort of event that you were hosting? Was it around a specific neighborhood and a list of homes? So if you don't mind just dropping in chat, if you have run a Facebook ad before, what was it around? Okay, so we've got a lot of answers coming in. It looks like mostly listings. Yeah, so we've got listings. I did see a couple open houses there. Listings with the intention of attracting sellers, listing or trying to capture buyers, not advertising listings, listing in a specific neighborhood or like a list of neighborhoods. Okay, cool. So it looks like mostly listings, which is what we're going to focus on today, because that's where we primarily see the most number of true leads coming, are generally off of a listing. So as you look at my screen here, there's something that I really want you to pay attention to. You'll notice that we have at the top of the screen, we've got these 4 squares right here. The first one is if we wanted to do a listing. I've got a new listing. I just want to use one single image and I want to run an ad around that. The second one is if I have a new listing, and I mean, you guys, I've got over 100 beautiful photos of this listing, and I maybe want 3 of them to be in this ad because the backyard is like nothing you've ever seen. The kitchen is just built and beautiful, and I really want to see the front of the house. So I've got 3 beautiful photos that I want to showcase. The next one might be a multi-listing. So in this one neighborhood, I just took 3 new listings and I want to get all of those out at the same time. And I want to run one ad around all of them. And then the last one might be, this is actually not for a listing. So this is, I want to do a curious to know how much your home is worth. I want to do here's a list of properties in a specific area. I want to do, here's an event that we're having. So we can choose those. Now you'll notice down here in this second batch, we have attract sellers, attract buyers, recruit agents or branding, and attract sellers. And then also attract buyers, listing, attract sellers, and attract buyers. So that might seem like, my gosh, that's a lot of the same thing. Let's talk about the difference between this blue bubble right here and this yellow bubble right here, because this is really big. So the blue bubble up here is where we're running an ad on Facebook and or Instagram, and we are using the lead form that Facebook has created for us. So the way that I think of this is, if we're doing one of these first 4, you don't have to do any work. You don't have to do any heavy lifting. You don't have to have a form that they fill out. Facebook does all of the heavy lifting for you. This is what I recommend if you're just kind of dipping your toe in the water for running Facebook ads. If we're using something down here that has the yellow bubble, that means that you are directing them to some site that you're going to get that contact information for them. So it's not, Facebook has no form, they're not doing anything. You're going to have to really do the heavy lift for that. So you just need to think about that and have awareness of, what do I want to be sending? What do I want to be working on? Do I have something where I can require them to fill that out? For this purpose today, we're going to choose the first one, and we're going to say that we're running an ad on a new listing that we have, and we just want to use one single image. So I'm going to click into that. And as that's loading, it's just worth mentioning that, remember, anytime that we're running a Facebook ad, it's running from your Facebook business page. So you have to have a business page to be able to run this ad. I know I saw some in chat that you said you were having some issues connecting that page. Again, your Market Center tech trainers would love to help you with that. And we can absolutely send that to support if need be. So right here is where we have the Facebook page that we're going to link. Mine is connected. So you'll see right here, if you manage multiple Facebook pages, business pages, you'll see a couple of them listed here, and you can choose which one, but this is the one that I want to run it off of. And then down here is where I'm going to add the listings that I want to run this ad around. Again, I just picked the one listing. And I do just see a question right here. What would you recommend we use if we are advertising for an educational seminar? I would probably do the last one. So if we saw there were those 4 kind of options right there, I would still use that Facebook lead gen form and just the wording, maybe make something beautiful in designs around the seminar, but I would use the Facebook lead form. And then another question, can that ad be forwarded to a personal page? So remember, we're doing an ad. So we're picking a location, and then it's going to show up in front of people's pages, like on their Facebook as they're scrolling. So this is not going to be shown to your friends necessarily. It's going to be people that kind of match the criteria that we might have in here. So there's a chance that you're not even going to see this ad because you might not even fall under the location and the criteria that Facebook uses. So it's always going to be on a business page. We can't do anything with a personal page. Looks like we've answered all the questions in chat, so we'll keep moving. So I'm going to add a listing here that I want to run this ad off of. I am just going to pick one of the first ones with the photo here. Your listings would show up first. I'm just going in and we're going to pick, we'll pick this one. This looks nice, in Detroit. So we're going to pick that one. And then you'll notice that in literally seconds, it's going to pull and create the ad for me, but we definitely want to make some changes to this. Now, you'll notice over here on the right, I do have a question for you. Who thinks that most people, I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to have 2 options, so don't answer yet. If you think that most people view Facebook or Instagram on a mobile device, type mobile in chat. If you think most people look at Facebook or Instagram on like a laptop, type laptop in chat. Yeah, okay. Definitely, yeah. No questions asked, right? Mobile is where everybody is looking at that. So that's the reason why we have this set up as a phone over here, because we want to make sure that the wording, like we're not chopping off half of the wording. It looks nice. It's the way that we would like for this to look. We don't necessarily, Aaron, that's hilarious. Mobile, except for my mom. That's so cute. So we don't want to make sure that we don't want to be cutting off wording. We want it to look good on mobile, because just from our little kind of tests that we just took right here, it looks like 99% of people are looking at Facebook on a mobile device, except for some of our parents. I might be in the same boat with you. So down here is where we're going to jump in first, and we're going to take a look at targeting. I want to spend some time on this because this is one of the newer features with the new command experience that is absolutely incredible. So I'd like for you to type in chat. I know we've got people from all around the region here, which I love that. But type in chat, what's an area outside of our region? So outside of North Carolina and outside of North Carolina, or sorry, North Carolina and South Carolina, what's a different state that people are moving to your area from? So give us just a moment just to see what's a state that people are moving to our area from. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a lot of overlap here. Okay, Ohio, Florida, New York, Georgia, Utah, Texas, Arizona. It might be easier for me to say, what state are they not moving here from, right? Because everybody wants to live in our area. It's so beautiful. All the northern yeah, they're like, I'm done with the snow, right? I can handle a little bit of cold weather. Wyoming, tri-state. Okay, so number 1, I love that all of you knew this. But number 2, let's talk about how we can use that to our advantage. And that can be done through targeting. So you'll notice when I get to this section right here that says targeting, I have the listing location, which means this listing is in Detroit. So that means if I were running this ad, the people on Facebook or Instagram that this would show in front of are within a 15-mile radius of wherever this location is in Detroit. So that's the default, right? We might say, I just took a listing in Charlotte, I just took a listing in Charleston, I just took a listing in Greenville. The area that I want is that default 15-mile radius. However, as evidenced by the chat, there's a lot of people that are moving into our area specifically from all of these different states. And it might be nice to get a listing like this in front of them. So for those of you that use the legacy campaigns experience that we used to have through Command, what you might know is I could go in and I could create this ad for Charlotte, and then I had to go in and I had to duplicate that ad 3 or 4 times if I wanted that in different areas. That's no longer the case. You can literally do it right here. So I'm going to come right here to custom location. And maybe I say, I do want this to show up in Detroit because that is where this listing is. So I want people that are within that 15-mile radius of Detroit to show up. However, as evidence from the chat, I know that people are also moving here from Ohio. And I know that people are also moving here from New York. And I know that people are also moving here, so on and so forth. And I can pick up to 10 different locations by choosing a zip code or a city. So again, no longer do I have to come in and say, create this ad for Charlotte, and then let's run the same ad and let's run it to the major metropolitan areas that we see people moving to Charlotte from. I can do it at once here. Now, here's something that I always want to try to figure out and train on is how can you find more business from the things that we are doing in Command? So if you want to write this down, this is just a conversation or a dialogue that you might want to have with potential sellers. So imagine that you're at the listing appointment with Mr. or Mrs. Seller. The conversation that I want you to have is, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, when you decide to list with me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the beautiful photos that we have done for your listing, and I'm going to run a social media ad. And I'm going to run a social media ad not only in, and then insert your city here, Charlotte, Greenville, Asheville, Myrtle Beach, wherever it is. But what I've also done is I did a little bit of research and I found that the larger metropolitan areas in Detroit, Ohio, New York, tend to have a lot of people moving into, insert your area, Myrtle Beach, Asheville, Charlotte, Greenville. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to spend marketing dollars on taking this ad and getting that in front of people that live in those areas. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when you decide to list with me, not only are you getting local exposure at the highest level, but you're getting national exposure at the highest level of data that we found of people that are moving here. So again, at the listing appointment, we're talking about this and we're saying, I've taken the time to figure out, 1 out of every 15 home buyers in the last 12 months moved here from XYZ. We want to get this in front of them, right? So we're finding ways to find more business versus just running it exactly where we are. So this is really incredible because previously, I know I've mentioned this, but I just want to keep coming back to it. You had to run the same ad like 10 different times. We can now do it just the one time here, which is really amazing. Let's get down to the media. And I'm curious to kind of see what people think here. Who thinks an image performs better and who thinks a video performs better? So I'll have you just type in chat, who thinks an image and who thinks a video? So we're getting a lot of video. So here's what we see through ads. A standalone image tends to perform better. I don't know if this is the case, but if I had to guess, I would think it's because the videos that are added are generally too long. People don't watch them. People aren't clicking through them. It almost gives too much data or details about the property. On Facebook, the image tends to work better. Again, on TikTok and different things, obviously, it's going to be a video, not images. But I think that we tend to see images working better for that. There's a lot of thought. There's like different articles that you can read about like human behavior. Some people say we should never do an outside image. We should do an inside image because that emotionally ties people more so to the home. I think we just need to pick a beautiful photo that people want to click into and find more out about. So what's really nice is even though I'm only using one image, you'll notice all of the images have loaded in here. So if I say like, I actually want the kitchen or whatever this one might be, I don't have to upload it. I don't have to go back and find it. I can come back and pick it, but we'll stick with the first one, which was that nice outside. So we're adding the image there. If it's not in MLS yet and we wanted to upload it, we can upload a custom image here. So maybe we're saying, I want to run the ad. It's going live in MLS tomorrow, or I have a different photo. You can upload that at all, at any time as well. All right, let's get down to text. And this is really exciting. So first of all, over here on the right, you'll notice that we've got, as we're building out the ad, it says beautiful new home in Detroit, just listed at, and then a price. What here would we want to take out? So what would we not want to have here? So again, it says beautiful new home in Detroit, just listed at $299,900. Yeah, so we're getting a lot of price, right? So we don't want to include the price. And in a lot of the ads, when you're building it, it has it there for you. Yeah, Catherine, the price too specific. Also, it's, you know, somebody might look at this and say like, oh gosh, I can't afford 300,000. It appears to me that this agent only works with people that want to list their house for that price or work with buyers at that price. Or someone might look at this and say, I actually have $10 million and I don't want to work with someone that works with $300,000 buyers. I want someone that seems more luxury, right? So again, we don't want to include price. It's not here, but the other thing that we never want to include, does anybody want to guess? And you can write it in chat. So we never want to include the price. And then there's something else about the property that we never want to include in the ad. So I'll give you just, yes, you're all coming up with it. Address. Because if I give the address, what happens? So if I'm just running an ad and I say, yeah, Marcus wrote Zillow, Aaron wrote Google, Catherine wrote someone else gets business, right? Yeah. If I write that it's 123 Main Street, they're immediately saying that looks beautiful. I'm just going to Google 123 Main Street and go look at it. Yeah, Lauren, they go see it for themselves instead of calling you. So we want to make sure that we're never including the address. Now, here's something that is so cool. Like this is when this went live, I just like this blew my socks off. I was so excited. So under the body text right here, a lot of times I get asked from agents, like, I want to run a Facebook ad, but I have no idea what to write. Like, I'm not a copywriter. I don't know what's working. I don't know what I should write. All of that is done for you through this. So you'll see we've got the body text here, which is beautiful new home in this city, just listed at this price. I know I don't want the price, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm actually going to get rid of just listed. But I don't like this wording. Like nobody's going to click on this. This doesn't seem exciting. So I want to kind of like jazz it up a little bit. You'll notice that I can come down here and let's just do like description. We'll add that. Actually, let's get rid of that. Sorry. And then I want to come back here and I want to say, I don't like the way this wording is. So I can add emojis if I want to, but I'm going to actually come over here to this magic wand. And then you'll see it's going to allow me to write this with artificial intelligence. So I've got different styles down here where it's going to completely write it for you. I can make it artistic. I can make it more practical. So I think of like the way that I use this is who's the buyer that I think would end up in this house? Is this more of a artistic, like beautiful kind of bungalow artistry area? Practical, is this an investor special? And I just want practical writing. Vibrant, is this like a first-time home buyers? There's like really beautiful, like raise your home here. Caring, emotional, and we can go through these like when you're running the ad, you can go through and see what it looks like. So we'll say like maybe we want this to be a bit more emotional. And then you'll see it completely rewords it for me. So experience the serenity of our brand new home in Detroit, designed for those who appreciate a peaceful retreat. With calming views, luxurious finishes, and modern amenities to ease your worries away, your perfect sanctuary awaits. So literally in a second, it wrote it for me. Now I changed the style, but maybe I want to say, like, I actually want to suggest with artificial intelligence. What that then does is AI goes in and kind of scans the listing and says, it looks like it has these features. Let's make some changes. And then the artificial intelligence also does like an overlay of, these are top performing Facebook ads that we see. And these are kind of the words that we've changed with that. So I'm just going to click suggest with artificial intelligence, and you'll see it changes. Charming bungalow in Detroit's coveted Green Acres neighborhood, fully remodeled with 3 beds, 2.5 baths, and a spacious basement for storage. Now, I might say I like that, but I want to change the style and I want to make that more vibrant. I can come in and make as many changes as I would like. I'm just going to hit apply for time's sake, and we're going to say that's the style and the writing that we like. Now you'll notice we've got a lot of text here. So there's the see more. So I might want to get rid of some of that because, again, this is showing us on the mobile device. So if we go back to that conversation that we're having at the dining room table when we're at the listing appointment, the one value that we've showed them is, I'm going to do my due diligence to find out where people are moving here from. I'm going to get this ad in front of them. And number 2, I'm going to use artificial intelligence to make sure that we craft the most beautiful ad that we possibly can so that we're getting more views of your property. So we're just using this to tell our story with the sellers of what we're able to do. Now we can do the same thing over here with the headline. I won't go through it because it's the exact same modal, so nothing changes here. But you'll notice we have a really small character limit here. We suggest like 125. Obviously we can go more, but we suggest that. So text is really cool. Again, it really just takes the guesswork out of it for you. So then we come into, where do we want to send them? So for example, what we mean by that is, as soon as someone sees this ad and they click on the learn more, Facebook again is doing the heavy lift for you. They're the one that's actually having them fill out the information, and then that comes into command as a lead. But what's really nice is, as soon as they click on that learn more, you then have an opportunity to send them to another website. So I'll ask this question in chat. What website do you think that you should send them to? So once they click through, Facebook pulls in their information. All of that is done. You don't have to do anything yourself. What website would we want to send them to? Yeah, nobody else is. So we don't see any Zillow or Google or anything here, right? Yeah, we want to send them to your site. Here's the thing though. I'm going to ask you to make what I'm going to call, and what we call sometimes in technology, a better mousetrap. And so what I mean by that is, if someone sees my campaign, which looks like this, and they click into the learn more, and I then take them over to my website and I take them to this homepage, what's going to happen? So if I just take them directly here, it's a beautiful site, right? But if the property isn't down here, it's not one of these, what's going to happen? Yeah, they're gone. We're saying they're going to lose interest potentially. They're not going to, they'll fall off. People, Megan says people are lazy, right? Yeah, they don't know what to search for, because remember, we didn't enter the address and we didn't enter the price. So yes, they could potentially go and look somewhere around the neighborhood. However, what I'm going to really encourage is, we're going to say that this is the listing that you're running the ad off of. And bear with me one second, because I just have mine set up that you have to register. So let me just log in real quick. So all that we would do is, prior to running the ad, I want you to go to your website just like a consumer, and I want you to search for the property. And I just always say, like, if we're going to teach a class on real estate, let's look at some really beautiful real estate. So again, I'm coming to my website just like a consumer would, and I'm searching for the property that I'm running the ad on. And so we're going to say that I'm running an ad on this beautiful $17 million property. Now, if someone clicks into my ad and then it takes them over to this site. Yes or no? Do you think they're going to stay on the site for longer? Yes. Yeah, Megan, me too, right? They're going to come here and they're going to see the properties. They're going to see all the information. They can absolutely contact me if they want, but remember, Facebook's already done the heavy lift for them of pulling in all the information as the lead. But you'll see they've got all of the details. There's a really beautiful monthly mortgage calculator there. I've got pricing and tax history. This is on the new website. I've got the ability to really explore this neighborhood fully. I've got a market snapshot. I've got nearby schools, both public as well as private. If they're entering their information where they live or where they work, we can see what it looks like as far as a commute time. And then I have similar properties. So if they say, I actually wanted to look at this one, it allows them to look through more of those. And remember, we can go in and set up your website with a forced registration if you would like to. So we can do they can look at 2 properties, they can look at 10 properties, they can look at no properties, or they can look at unlimited properties. And all of that can be done in your settings. Yeah, Karen, I'll show you again. So all we're going to do is we're going to come to our website. So before we run the ad, we're going to come to our website, just like a consumer, and we're going to find every listing is going to have its own unique URL or web address. So we're going to come here. No, I could just enter the address, but I don't have a listing in Beverly Hills. So I'm just going to search and I'm going to say this listing, one of the first ones that comes up, we'll say, yep, this one is my listing. This is what I'm running the ad off of. And so you'll notice up here at the top of the page, it has a full link right here with the address in there. That's the link that I want to take. So I'm just going to come right over here and I'm going to copy that link. And then when I'm running my paid ad, that's the URL that I want to enter right here, because then I'm taking them directly over to the listing. I can click preview URL right here, and we can just verify that that's the correct property that we wanted to send them to. So again, we want to make sure we're not just taking them to our homepage where they don't know what to do. They're not going to do anything. They're probably going to leave, that we're actually entering the URL that we want. And we can get really creative with this, right? So for example, I know most of us are finding success with ads around a listing. However, we can come here and we can say, let's just go to my homepage again. We can say like curious to know what your home is worth. So let's say we're just gonna do Beverly Hills again, because I just love to look. So we're gonna search for Beverly Hills, California. And then I'm going to do something kind of interesting. I'm going to come right up here and I'm going to go to these filters. And I can enter a price range if I wanted to, but I'm actually going to come right up here to sold. I don't want what's new. And so I would filter this down because it's 6,000 results, but for time's sake, we're just not going to. And then you'll notice how right up here, this changes again. It's the search of sold in that area. So I might take this link and I might run an ad around this of curious to know what your neighbor's home just sold here. Click here for a list of recent home sales in specific area. So I can get really, really kind of like granular on what I want to do here with some really nice stuff. Again, it has to be in an area. So it looks like in Beverly Hills, they don't allow that to show. I know most of our MLSs do. I think there's a couple in Columbia that don't allow that. So check before. But I think most of our locations allow the sold data to show. So we can get really there's a ton of stuff that you can do here. There's a great question in chat. Do you recommend the forced registration? Seems good in theory, but again, feel like people could lose interest right off the bat if doing so. Great question, Megan. So what we see from just data that we've looked at, the sweet spot for that tends to be the 2 properties. So that's nice with your Keller Williams website. It's not that we turn it on or off, there's options. So the one that I have on mine and the one that I find most people using is the 2. And so what that means is someone can come to your website, they can look at 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street, they can look at 7, 8, 9, 10 Main Street. And then when they want to look at 4, 5, 6 Main Street, that's when it's going to pop up and say, you'll need to register to view this. I do think just having it that they can't look at anything. Yeah, people are just going to leave and look at something else. I completely agree with you on that. Cool. All right, we'll keep on moving. We've got a little bit of time left. So now we're going to talk about how we want to follow up with these leads. Make sure that you stay, because before the end of the workshop, I'm going to give you the smart plan that you'll want to use for this, that literally you'll have to make like just a couple edits and be done with it. But it's an amazing smart plan that a lot of agents have had great success with. And it was actually built by an agent that gets the bulk of his business from Facebook ads. So you definitely want to make sure that that you're here so we can share that with you. So under lead settings, what this means is, what do I want to tag these leads at? Now, the lead source is going to be from a paid ads. So you're already going to see that. But we want to come right here, and I might want to say, I want to tag this as a Facebook lead. Now you'll notice I have Facebook lead already, but I could also create as a new tag. So if you don't have that tag yet, you could come right in here and create that. I'm going to say Facebook lead. I can add multiple tags to it if I would like. I'm just going to stick with the one. And then over here is where we're going to say, what smart plan do we want them to be added to? I've got a smart plan that I'm going to share with you once we walk through the rest of this. And so this is where I would not add them to the home anniversary, but we're just going to add that one for here. So this is big, because previously you had a lead coming in. You'd have to stop what you were doing, manually add them to a smart plan, or call them, or stop what you're doing and send the email. Now, literally within seconds, an email can be automatically sent out to them, depending on what smart plan you're using. So think of this as, we're saying, before I even run the ad, how do I want to follow up? And that's everything that I'm going to have right here. And then down here is compliance. Where do you want your doing business as logo? Do you want the default? Do you have a custom one that you want to upload from that? I've got a default because it's just my Market Center one. So we're going to keep that right there. And then you'll see the last section down here. This is the only place where you'll see that ad preview. So you won't see it on the next page. You'll see it right here, but it's just a little bit smaller. This is where we're saying, okay, how long do we want to run this for? So the start date, you'll notice, will be today. Now it does tell you once you publish, it can take up to 24 hours to launch. So we just want to have awareness of that. We're only running this for 5 days. We can push that out further if we would like to. The questions that I get a lot, how long should I run it for? We tend to find anywhere from like 5 to 10 is kind of that nice time frame of it here. And then down here, I'm just setting my budget. How much do I want to spend? So I've got a budget of $50. I can bring that up, down. I can decide what I want. And you'll notice if I say I only want to do $20, it's going to turn red and say you're not currently meeting the minimum spend per day. Please change your schedule or increase your spend. So I might say I'll take that up a little bit to $40. Daily spend is $667. And then down here, this is where you'll enter your card information. So it's not done on your agent bill through the Market Center. It's done directly through here. You can pull invoices directly from Keller Williams for you to have for fees as well as for tax purposes as well. And then we just want to give it one more glance. Over here, we'll see that we've got the purchase now right here, and that then allows us to run the ad. So I'm going to pause for just a second. I saw just a couple questions in the chat. Are you finding landing pages or general URLs are best? Anthony, great question. We're finding that general URLs. The reason for that is because if I just do a landing page and they don't like that property, there's nowhere else for them to go. Plus, I think let's just make it easier for you whenever we can. So let's just go to the site, find the address for the listing, and then they can kind of play around on that. Aaron asked, what's the best place to get the info on where folks are moving from? A couple answers for that, Aaron. One place is your local MLS might be able to tell you. I know a lot of times they have classes on that. But also in referrals through Command, you can actually look at referral patterns. And so that'll actually show you, you can enter your information, your location, and you can go in and see that as well. Is there, yeah, Steve, there is analytical data. So let's get out of this. We're going to go back to campaigns. So we're not going to save this. So it's gone. It's going to be a beautiful ad. I just know that, but we're not going to save it. So I'm going to go back into my paid ads experience. Now you're going to get notifications. Those can be set up, and you want to make sure your notifications are on before you run this to make sure that you're receiving all the leads. And then you'll notice once we log into your paid ads, you've got programs right here. So I only run these for recruiting, so I don't have a ton of data to share with you. but I'll click in. These are not general metrics. This is just around recruiting. So we're seeing with listings and agents running ads that we're seeing much better data than this. This was a test one for a lab that I did. So you can see it'll show you the number of clicks, the number of views, how many leads came from it, cost per click, cost per lead. And then this is just the click-through rate. And then down here at the bottom is just a preview of what that ad looked like. And then all of your leads will be down here as well that you can export as a CSV, but they will also live in your command database, marked as a Facebook lead source, tagged as a Facebook lead if you decide that you want to do that as well. So you'll be able to see all the analytics there as well. Skylar asked, how can you target just one neighborhood? So we play by Facebook rules. The smallest target area we can go is 15 miles. That's a Facebook rule, not a KW command rule. I've heard there's a sweet spot Facebook algorithms used to show your ad to more people. I think it was over $30 a day. I have not heard that. So I'd love to know more about that. We've actually seen like the $50 for the entire ad seems to be the sweet spot with this. I'm doing an event in a neighborhood that I am farming. And what is the best way to run an ad? I know this is a listing ad. Yeah, so I would just pick when we went into all of the ads, the dashboard here, you've got non-listing over here, where if you made a flyer or something visual and you could write whatever wording you wanted, we would just pick that, which is a non-listing. How do we know what is considered good with the analytics? It'll tell you. So as you enter, like, I want to spend this much, it'll tell you like you're matching it. And it's honestly like, I'm not going to tell you that you'll get it right and knock it out of the park the first time. But when we stick to listings, when we use the Facebook lead gen form, those tend to work the best. And then I have a where is this feature, but I'm not sure what that would be. And then Megan, I don't really recommend using this for client events because remember, we can't target who this gets to. So it's going to get to like the general public. So I don't really recommend doing that. Alice, oh, the analytics feature. Yeah. So once you've run an ad, that will be under programs. So you'll have all of your ads that you've run down here, and then you'll have all of the data and all of the analytics here. So just under programs for that. All right. So I promised you we would talk about smart plans. So here's what I want to chat about with you. This gentleman right here is an amazing agent with our company. His name is Tyler Shields. And when we were going through the new Facebook campaigns experience, Tyler and his team is one of the largest teams that we labbed with this, and he had tremendous success. So what I want to show you, because we want to make sure before we run any ads, we want to make sure that we have a smart plan ready. So I'm going to come, again, I can click into that red box right up here. And then about 4 down, I've got smart plans. And then I'm going to go into the library. And if you want to just jot this down, because you'll want to make sure that you add this smart plan if you're going to run any ads like this. Right up here, I have this search bar, and I can search by a smart plan name, an author name, or a description. I'm going to do author name. And I'm going to search for Tyler Shields. And then you'll see 4 come up. The first one that is right here is the one that you would want to use. Now, I'm going to tell you, you have to make some edits to this because it's going to have Tyler's contact information. It's going to have all of that. But this is one of the best smart plans that we've seen with success of using this after you're running a Facebook ad. So if you wanted to add this to your library, all you would do is click on Add Smart Plan. You can rename this because if this means nothing to you, My Relevates New Lead Follow-Up, I can call this Facebook Follow-Up Smart Plan. And then we're going to download that. And then you'll see that that's going to then live in your library. It's my Facebook Follow-Up Smart Plan. And then you'll notice I've got all the way over to the right, I've got the pencil edit button. This is where we need to make sure that we make some changes. So for example, right here, we've got an email that's going to be sent out. I can click into any of these and it basically opens it up. This is not your website. This is Tyler's website. So you'll see it says the subject is homes for sale. Email content is if you would like to see properties for sale, please check out our website at we need to make sure we change that to yours. So we just want to take a moment, read through all of this, make sure it sounds like you. Again, this is not your information, it's Tyler's information. So we could come in here and make any changes that we want to here by just clicking on that pencil button, make the changes, make sure you hit save. But this is a really fantastic smart plan. I know we have some Market Center tech trainers on the call as well. There's a chance that they have a really great Facebook ad follow-up smart plan as well that I know they'd be more than happy to share with you that maybe they've created specifically for your Market Center. But the thing is, I want to make sure that I'm not running any ads until I have the smart plan in my library that I want to use, because otherwise we're just having to manually follow up. So how did I get to the smart plan edit? Yeah, I'd love to show you that again. Don't be sorry, Erin. So once I've added it to my library, I've got all my smart plans right here. Over here on the right, I've got the pencil edit button that allows me to go into the smart plan. And then if I wanted to edit the actual steps in here, I can click on that. And then that opens up what the step is here. And then I just click that pencil again. And I can do the same thing for each of the steps. So we just make sure we do that. Ginger's got a great question. Is this being recorded? It absolutely is. And I'll drop these resources in chat for you guys again. These are a couple resources. One is where the recording can be found, which is on our regional YouTube channel. Second one is our Facebook page. And then the final one is just a nice little get started with paid ads in Command. Alice, to answer your question, which of his plans? It's the first one. So when you search for Tyler under the library, it's the first one that comes up. It's got, I think, like over 3,000 downloads. It's got a 5-star review, and I think it's called Relevate's New Lead Follow-Up Smart Plan. Cool. So thank you so much for being here. I know this was a lot. It was really fast and furious. Here are kind of like my final tips for you. I would never recommend that anybody says, I've never run a Facebook ad before in my life, and I'm going to spend thousands of dollars to do it. So it's similar to, I compare it to like an open house. If you were like, I've never hosted an open house before in my life, I should probably get 100 custom signs made before I even see if I like it. So I would tell you to maybe say, you know what, I've got a new listing. I want to run an ad around it. I'm going to spend $40. I'm going to follow everything. The big things are, where do we want to target? Sending them to your website with a mousetrap, not just the homepage of your website, and making sure that you have that smart plan follow-up so that it's really taking that a lot of the follow-up immediately off of you. But I promise it's not scary. I hope this was really helpful. I said this in the beginning. I don't take anything lightly about you giving up 60 minutes of your day. So I appreciate you so much. I also wanted to mention, I'm going to be holding a different kind of class. So it's going to be called RTT Office Hours. So the first one of those that we're going to have is going to be next Wednesday at 1 p.m. So next Wednesday at 1 p.m. And I'm actually not going to really teach on anything. I'm going to bring probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes of like, here's a new feature in Command that I just want to make sure you guys know about. But then it's really just going to be bring your questions. If you have a question, I'm sure that somebody else in the region does. So that will not be recorded, just because I know sometimes when people are asking questions, they don't want that to be recorded. So that'll be in person, have to be there only. Get with your Market Center leadership team. They have the Zoom for that because it's different than this one. And then I see Jennifer asked, where do we go to learn more about smart plans? I would say start with your Market Center tech trainer, but also answers.kw.com is an amazing resource for anything in Command. And then Reagan asked, what results are people getting with TikTok? So here's just some data on that. We've recently added TikTok, so I don't have a ton of data on that for you. The interesting thing about TikTok, I just want to make sure you know this before you kind of go into that. The minimum ad spend per day is $27 through TikTok. So it's significantly a higher cost than like a Facebook or Instagram for that. And I don't have metrics on that at all, but it is vastly higher. I think it might be good to just be a little bit more organic on TikTok and not spend the money for the ads on that. I think we're seeing success from that. Awesome. Are the Command ads going to Facebook and IG? Yeah, Jen, they can go. So the one that we did on Facebook will go to both. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you. It's an honor for me to be able to work alongside with you every day. We'll take the recording, we'll process it, have it up by the end of the day in YouTube. Hope to see you. We'll do another workshop probably in March around the new website. So make sure that you're paying attention to that. If we can help you with anything, let us know. Have a great day, everyone. Good to see all of you.